Let's just get out of here. Take a little flight. Get lost in love. Let's go. Ma, it's no problem to hold you, tongue stroke you, please you like I'm supposed to. Touch spots that ain't ever been touched, and I won't stop till both these squirrels get their nuts. Hey, you know it's good when we freakin', king size squeaking. After I ease in, if you was with me, baby, 24/7, best believe that every single day would be a sweet day. Girl, you sweeter than a cheesecake. If you want beef, prophecy will be a beefcake. I make love to you till you fall asleep, leave you with sweet dreams between the sheets.
Was the night before that night. I was born on that day, but not last night. Once upon a time, I had my cash right. Plug called, he ain't act right. I'm far from a slow nigga in this fast life. Pulled up, I got low, hit the black light. Once upon a time, slimy niggas catch a bad night. When bad police die, they don't deserve bagpipes. Once upon a time, they need to feel what God raps like. Old soul, so folks feel me like a past light. A head buster, I'm shining bright as a mag light. Once upon a time, when will the government act right? Opinionated imbeciles just...
What's good, everybody? It's your man B Don coming live naturally on the TruPlayaz podcast episode. A little bit an hour away from week 2 of the NFL season. I know I've been absent for a little bit, but I hope you guys enjoyed the last episode about myself and JoeyG recapping the first 2 episodes of House of Dragon, and also the What If we rewrote the season 8 of Game of Thrones. And I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Been away for a while, but now we're going to get back to real business of the TruPlayaz podcast, which is the sports section. I haven't spoke to you guys about sports in a minute. I know you guys was wondering, like, where's Dom at? Donovan Mitchell goes to Cleveland. We didn't hear Dom on the TruPlayaz podcast talk about that. There's a lot of things. Mets struggled a little bit, lost a few games in a row against the Pirates and the Nationals. We didn't hear Dom on the podcast about that. But, I'm here now. I'm here to speak on. I'm here to speak on it. I'm quite sure you guys seen the posters I've placed on Facebook or Instagram in regards to why the Mets were struggling offensively, and I felt that I'm gonna start with the Mets right away. Let's do that before we get into the real reason of this episode. The Mets, if the top 5 in the order is not doing their job, the offense will struggle. If Nemo's not getting on base, if Lindor's not moving the runners over, if Alonso's not driving them in, if McNeil is not hitting the way he usually hits, that's going to be a struggle, because guess what? The lineup is not long. It's not deep enough. It's not long enough to sustain a consistent offensive production. Granted, this past September, you got Nido and McCann both hitting well in the catcher's position. Escobar's hitting well. He won the game yesterday for the Mets. The Mets won the game yesterday against the Pirates 5-1, which he hit a 3-run home run. So a lot of guys contributing at the right time despite the swoon. But is it really the swoon that has got all us Mets fans sweating our butts off, or is it that the Braves are just playing that well right now? I believe the Braves are 65 and 20-something since they started off slow. So this for me, this is not surprising. The Atlanta Braves are the defending world champions. Eventually, they'll wake up from their celebration of having that title and start playing well again. And this is what we have. We have a race in the NL East, in which the Braves are a half game behind the Mets. But keep in mind one thing, guys. The Mets control their future. They keep winning. They keep beating the teams they're supposed to beat. They're going to win the division. That's it. As simple as that. I just love Buck Showalter's calm demeanor through the struggles, and he just knows what to do. He's an experienced manager. He knows what to do when the team is struggling. I know Jerry Seinfeld and Boomer was saying some stuff about Timmy Trumpet doing all that stuff, and it kind of put a curse on the Mets. I don't believe that. It just made the Mets listen. I'll put you like this: when you bring in Timmy Trumpet. No one knew of Timmy Trumpet until Edwin Diaz was pitching and closing out games like he was untouchable. No one knew about Timmy Trumpet. So Timmy Trumpet's popularity is thanks in part to Edwin Diaz and how well he's pitching this year. But I will say this: all that bullpen entrance from the top of the 9th inning will mean nothing to me unless it's in the closing game of a World Series title. That's what I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you that from here, guys. It will not mean not a damn thing to me until we get to that closing 3 outs of winning the World Series. That's all I'm saying about that. But you know what it is too, guys. Both New York teams are struggling. The Yankees had a big lead also in the AL East, and they're struggling. They lost to the Brewers yesterday 4-1. So I haven't been in tune with the Yankees this year because I haven't been in tune with baseball the entire year. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I haven't been in tune. I wasn't. My attention span to baseball was non-existent. I felt there was nothing exciting about. I mean, granted, the teams are winning games, but where's the exciting players? What's players like? Oh shoot, I gotta watch that guy. Jacob deGrom didn't start pitch till July. We had Scherzer, but Scherzer's once every 5 days. Lindor's not that player that makes you want to go up and want to watch him. I'm not saying he's a basic shortstop, but I felt you could argue me on this or not. I felt Jose Reyes was a much more exciting player than Francisco Lindor. But enough of that, guys. I'm gonna say one more thing before we move on to the reason why for this podcast. Before I get to the New York Jets and Giants, let's talk about the trades at the deadline, which the Mets got Vogelbach and Ruff. I'm not impressed. These guys have done nothing for me. I mean, they had occasional hits here and there, but not consistently to the point that they replaced Dom Smith's production. Dom Smith was probably a slightly less than they were this year. I felt the acquisition they should have made, which I posted about it, was bringing back Michael Conforto. Here's a guy who could play all three outfield positions and be that DH, left-handed DH bat that can hit left-handers. A player that could put fear into pitching. That's the player they should have re-signed. Even though I understand the guys, he's been out the whole season because of his shoulder. I understand that he's going to need some rehab games to get him back up and going. But with a guy like that, I want him to get going in the playoffs. I don't care about the regular season. We got enough to close out the NL East with the players that we have. Body Conforto ready and in the swing of things by the playoffs, which is coming up soon. That's why I felt they should have re-signed him earlier. But then again, he got an agent that's greedy. You know, Scott Boras always looking out for his pockets. So we just got to deal with that for now. All right. So now let me get to the Knicks. The Knicks. Yeah, Mitchell goes to the Cavs, which I'm not surprised. You got to keep in mind one thing. Who's the general manager of the Utah Jazz? Danny Ainge. And who is Danny Ainge? He's a former Celtic. He was not going to give the Knicks Donovan Mitchell without a king's ransom. So I'm not surprised about that at all. He goes to the Cavs. Maybe he just wanted out of Utah. Maybe he was teasing us all wearing a New York Mets uniform, saying how he wants to be in New York, this, that, and the other. Maybe he was just teasing us. Probably he still holds a grudge that we didn't select him over Frank Ntilikina. You don't know that. Because I'll tell you one thing. If he really wanted to be a Knick, he would have been a Knick. He would have made a whole lot of noise to become a Knick, just like Carmelo Anthony did back in the day. But the package that the Utah Jazz wanted, I'm not giving up R.J. Barrett. I'm not giving up Obi Toppin. At this point, I'm not even going to give Quentin Grimes up. Why? Because we already have a point guard right now in Jalen Brunson. I don't want to run a Smurf backcourt. You understand what I'm saying, guys? I don't want to run a Smurf backcourt. Guys under 6'3" in the backcourt. No. There's too many big guards in the NBA right now to run that BS. So I'm glad they didn't get Donovan Mitchell. Would he have been great? Yes, of course he would have been great, but at what cost? Think about cost and effect. Cost and effect, guys. This is, and I speak about this on my podcast earlier. Equitable spending, equitable trades. And Donovan Mitchell is not an equitable trade. Not for the assets they don't want it. Because everything got to be equitable for you. That's the main thing. That's the game of life, man. Equability. If I'm making that word up. Everything that means a lot. Whether it's in your certain entrepreneur ventures that you're into, your job, your significant other. Everything has to be equitable for you to have a smile on your face and be successful. If it's not equitable, gotta drop it. No matter what they tell you, just gotta drop it. But I'll speak more about that a little later at the end of the podcast. So now, nothing too for the Knicks. The move they need to make right now is either getting rid of Randall and Fournier or get rid of one of those guys. And stop playing around with Cam Reddish. Let Cam Reddish either start or get more minutes. And another thing, too, let me go back to Donovan Mitchell. If he had gotten Donovan Mitchell, what was going to happen with Derrick Rose? We would have an influx of point guards who all want the ball in their hands. Again, that's the reason why the trade that didn't happen, I'm glad it didn't happen. I'm glad it didn't happen. But now let's get back to football, people. Week 1 has just passed. NFL season has started. You know, I didn't speak about it during the preseason because I felt the preseason, I'm not going to talk about no football in the preseason. I made a decision for this year. I'm not going to do it for next year either. I'm going to wait till week 1 and get started. And this is what I'm going to do. And this is what I'm doing right now. Let's just talk about the Giants here. The Giants had a big come-from-behind win against the Titans, 21-20, in which they were lucky. The kicker for the Titans missed a field goal. And that has been the common theme the entire week 1 with field goal kickers missing field goals. Whether it's extra points or field goals, they've been missing a lot of those the week 1. So let me talk about the Giants, man. The Giants, I'm really excited about the Giants. I like the coaching staff. The coaching staff has a plan. They're running their system according to the plays that they have, unlike my New York Jets. They're not trying to fit players into the system. They're trying to make the system work for the players, which I like. Brian Daboll is a no-nonsense head coach. Shown to be a great, decent general manager, despite that he came in with no cap room to work with. Saquon Barkley made his comeback. He looked like he's back to his old self since his rookie year. He had 18 carries, 162 yards, and 1 TD, and also shipped in with 6 receptions for 30 yards. Daniel Jones was 17 for 21, 188 yards, 1 interception, 1 fumble loss. And that's going to be the big theme for Daniel Jones, because as I've seen from Brian Daboll, I've seen him twice a year when he was an offensive coordinator for the Jets, he hates turnovers. And Daniel Jones keeps fumbling that football. Tyrod Taylor will be starting soon. I don't know if you guys know that exchange that he had with Daniel Jones on the sidelines. He's told this guy, I don't give a F who the owners are and how much they like you. If you don't play well, I'm going to bench your ass. And I like that. Finally, a coach who's actually coaching to win and coaching to keep his job on every play. That's what I like. Sometimes doing what the owners tell you to do doesn't always equate to you keeping your job or winning. Remember, owners are owners, and they hire coaches to coach players to win football games. So I'm glad this coach recognized that. Also, Sterling Shepard chipped in with 2 receptions for 71 yards. And Kenny Golladay, who signed a big contract, had 2 receptions for 22 yards. I don't know if it's him and the chemistry between him and Daniel Jones is not where it should be, or he's just been a free agent bust for the Giants. So whichever it is, that has to be fixed immediately. Kenny Golladay is too talented to have 2 receptions for 22 yards. So hopefully Brian Daboll will be able to figure that out and get that fixed. But then again, I'm confident with Brian Daboll as the New York Giants head coach. Me as a Jet fan, I don't hate the Giants. It's not like me with the Yankees. I don't like Yankees because I don't like their fans. Their fans talk a whole lot of shit, all types of things. I don't like Yankees because of their fans. They're not reasonable. They want to win. They want to buy every play. They want all the plays for themselves. The Giants are much more humble and much more likable organization on the whole to root for outside of my Jets. You know? But I also will be keeping an eye on Seattle Seahawks, since a former New York Jet player with the former New York Jet head coach. Won their first game on Monday. Geno Smith. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna speak about him because I'm rooting for Geno Smith to succeed in the NFL. He's a minority quarterback who I felt, if he didn't get his teeth punched out by IK and Compali, whatever his name is, I don't even know his name, and he was one that caused Geno Smith his starting job at Jets. So you can only imagine how irrelevant that guy really is, IK. So we just call him IK. Geno Smith is now with DJ Metcalf. He got to receive with DJ Metcalf to throw the ball to. He got a running game. Pete Carroll's now going back to what made him great in USC and what he was trying to build with the Jets. He was trying to build the Patriots. Strong running game, great defense, and a quarterback who manages the game. Even though I think Geno Smith could be more than just a manager. He got the arm talent to win games, but does he still have the mental blocks in his mind that he can't win games? And what I've seen in the Seattle game, I'm trying to remember if he had a turnover or not. I don't think he had a turnover, but he started off fast, but then was unable to maintain the consistency throughout the game. You got to give Denver Broncos the credit. You know what I'm saying? Their rushes got to Geno Smith, and disrupted things after halftime. So that also contributed to that also. So give the Denver Broncos defense credit for that. And that's it for on that end. Let's go Giants. But I must say one thing before we get to the Jets. I don't like the fact that the NFL doesn't give us the ability to watch both New York Giants and Jet games at different time slots. I prefer to have either one of them play at 1 o'clock and one of them play at 4 o'clock, so I'll give you guys a better report on both games. Last week was the perfect synergy. One was playing at 1 o'clock, one was playing at 4 o'clock. It was very easy to watch both games. And now this week, they're back to the same old BS again with both of them playing at 1 o'clock. And you gotta switch between channels to watch both games. So that's the only thing, this only disappointing part. But if let's get to the Jets. I don't want to. Let's get to the New York Jets, people. The Jets lose to the Ravens 24-9. Joe Flacco, 37-59, 309 yards, a TD, and an interception. Those 59 attempts was too many for a Jet quarterback, especially with a Jet quarterback with a bad offensive line. We thought the interior of that offensive line would be the strong point since Mekhi Becton and Dwayne Brown were out with injuries. But it seemed like that's where the pressure was coming from the inside, from the Ravens that disrupted Joe Flacco and didn't give him enough time. I'm tired of hearing people say that, they want a mobile quarterback to run away from the rush. How about creating a better offensive line play, coaching a better offensive line? Instead of trying to do zone blocking with offensive linemen who are not specialized in that, let's coach offensive linemen to block according to their talents. How about that? This has been a recurring theme with the New York Jets since Robert Saleh came onto this team. He wants to coach a system to a bunch of players who don't fit that system, and this is where the disarray is coming from. Instead of creating a system that fit the players, or create a system that fits the players' talents, each individual talents. Michael Carter, 10 carries, 60 yards, also doing 7 receptions for 40 yards and a drop. That guy needs to stop dropping balls. Corey Davis, 6 receptions for 77 yards. He doesn't start catching the ball until he gets his first drop of the game. Why are we paying this guy this much money in order for him to drop balls is beyond my comprehension. Meanwhile, you got Denzel Mills on the bench, inactive. He did ask for his trade, though. And I hope and the reason why the Jets are not trading him, because they know what they got with Denzel Mims. They don't want to admit that they don't know how to use him. That is the issue. That is the issue. I bet if he goes to New England, I bet you if he goes even to Dallas or Carolina, they'll know how to use him. 6'4", 4.3 seconds in a 40-yard dash, and you don't know how to use that receiver? End zone. And I seen a few red zones which the Jets didn't know what to do. They didn't know who to throw the ball to. Gary Wilson, their prize rookie, they got him in the slot. How about you put him on the outside and put Elijah Moore on the inside to create that confusion for the defense? I kid you not, guys. I was watching this offense last week and I fell asleep. Each time they got the ball back on offense, I fell asleep. And then you got a head coach who has the nerve to tell everybody he's looking for receipts. How the hell are you looking for receipts when you can't even give your fans back their receipts? You're a clown, man. And I'm granted, he's a talented defensive coordinator. I actually root for him because he's the head coach of my favorite football team. But you keep acting like this. There's a guy that's a free agent right now who's doing commentating on ESPN called Sean Payton, who took the year off so he can get his next job. You don't understand the urgency of keeping your job right now? You are on the hot seat, bro. And you need to start winning football games. You need to have a team that looks like they know what they're doing. Your offense coordinator, I'm telling you right now, Robert Saleh, does not know what the hell he's doing. If you want to keep your job, you should fire your goddamn offense coordinator yesterday. There should be no way in hell you can't utilize a 6'4" receiver with 4.3 second speed in the 40-yard dash. There's no excuses that you can't. You got two good tight ends, Conklin and Udoma, CJ Udoma. You can't. You don't know how to use them. There is no just excuse for that. Forget about Corey Davis. He's going to drop a few passes. He's also going to catch them too. There's no excuses for that, man. People are paying their hard-earned money to have a Jet team. This Jet team has not been to a playoffs in over, I believe, 12 years. 2010 was the last time they've been to the playoffs. Mind you, for all those Jet fans who want their great vanilla hope, I'll put it like that, who was tearing down Geno Smith, they were tearing down Mark Sanchez. They didn't start tearing down Sam Darnold until his third season. They were tearing down Mark Sanchez since his rookie season. They were tearing down Geno Smith since his rookie season. But their vanilla hope didn't get torn down until his third season. They got tired of him. And mind you guys, last time the New York Jets been to a playoffs was with a minority quarterback. Remember that, guys. Not only did the last time they went to the playoffs, they actually went to the AFC Championship game. That's why you should treat your players equally. Us fans need to treat our players equally because they play for our team. Forget about their pigmentation. Look at the jersey on their back and support these guys. Because last time I checked, Mark Sanchez went to the playoffs with the Eagles and actually played in the playoff game for the Eagles. Yeah, the guy with the butt fumble, eating hot dogs on the sideline, was a starting quarterback for a team that also went to the playoffs outside of the New York Jets. You guys seem to forget that. Oh, no, you can make any type of excuses. No. Results are results. Forget about someone's pigmentation and root for the jersey on their back. And if Geno Smith makes it to the playoffs this year with the Seattle Seahawks, which is a long shot because of the NFC West is a tough division. But if he does make it, what is everybody going to say when that happens? You can't have a boring offense who can't score when you have a defense that's playing great defense. I feel bad for CJ Mosley. He shouldn't be on this team. He should be traded to a contender. But this guy's putting in All gas, no brakes mentality. He don't care if he's on a losing team or a winning team. He wants to be part of the turnaround. Too bad his head coach is not all gas, no brakes. But he wants his receipts, though. Save me with that bullshit. I want my receipts, motherfucker. As a fan, I want my receipts as a fan. And you should start today by beating the Browns in Cleveland. Having a more exciting offense on the field. Score the football, not field goals. Apparently, the New York just haven't gotten it right with the field goal kicker since Doug Bryan. Oh, my bad. Since Nick Folk. They have not gotten a field goal kicker right since Nick Folk. That needs to be fixed as well. Instead of you worry about what the fans are thinking, listen, the teams last year was taking you as for a joke anyway too. They took you for a joke last year. So what are you doing? You got to coach better. You got to make sure your coaches coach better too. If they can't coach, your job's on the line, man. Robert Saleh, I'm rooting for you, though. I'm rooting for you. But your job is on the line because Sean Payton's in the wings waiting. And don't think for a second Joe Douglas is not going to pull that trigger, especially with a coach who has coached in the New York market. And Sean Payton, he has coached here. He could be what Buck Showalter was for the Mets. He could be that for the Jets. That's the threat you have right now. And it's real. It's real and it's legit. Wake up, Rob. And stop looking for receipts. Coach your goddamn team better. Win football games. That's all that matters. That's what we're looking for. And it has to start this week against the Browns. Figure out how to get your receivers open. Figure out how to become more innovative on offense so it can become some sort of something to watch. Your defense can't carry you the entire season. They can't do that. It's not fair for them to do that. You guys are playing against Jacoby Brissett, who I'm gonna be straight with you. Before I put in my bets before the game starts, I'm actually betting them to beat the Jets. And I'm a Jet fan because I don't have faith in the coach and the offensive game plan. But I want you guys to prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. That's all I want you to do. Prove me the F wrong. The Giants are playing against the Panthers. Baker Mayfield starting. I don't know. I can't call it. The Giants got lucky last week because of the field goal kicker for the Titans missed the field goal. But I like the grit of the New York Giants, of the new head coach. We'll see what happens. That for me, that's a toss-up. I wouldn't bet on that game. That's an even Steven for me. So I'm not going to bet on that game. So nothing to look forward to. The Jets need to keep running Michael Carter. Michael Carter, don't drop the balls when they're thrown to you. I want to see more Breece Hall running the football too. And hopefully Dwayne Brown is coming back to play the left tackle position and then give some more time to Flacco. And I want to speak about the quarterback that they cut, which is Chris Streveler, whatever his name is, which I think was a bad person to cut. If you do replace Flacco, I've seen enough of Mike White. I want to see what the Streveler kid could do starting. He's on their practice squad. You better elevate him to the main roster soon. Soon, Robert. Soon, Joe. Stop messing around. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end the podcast here. You know what I'm saying? It's been a pleasure being back with you guys again. I'm going to be linking up with you again next week for the recap of this week. And as well, and hit you up with more episodes. We got a few more episodes coming up. I want to do an episode about electrical cars. I've grown to love electrical cars. I'm gonna do a podcast about that. Also, me and JoeyG and Mars, we're gonna do the part 2 of What If, the rewrite of season 8 of Game of Thrones, the original Game of Thrones, and then recapping episodes 3, 4, and 5 of House of Dragon. We're going to do that this week. Hope to see you guys there. Not sure the dates yet, but we're definitely going to have that podcast for you this week. That is all I can say. The only thing I can say is to everybody out there, I'm going to get back to equitability, if that's the word, if that's what I was looking for. But each move you make, you got to make it equitable. You got to start at a young age, whether it's entering a business or entering an opportunity or creating your own opportunity. If you ask me, I've been on both sides. I am on both sides of the fence of an opportunity granted to me and creating an opportunity. And I'm going to tell you that from experience. There's nothing much more fulfilling and honorable than creating your own opportunity. And living in the United States of America, we have the gift to create our own opportunity. Granted, people can offer us an opportunity that can make us make a lot of money. But keep in mind one thing. If you don't love it, if you don't love that opportunity that's being offered to you, your chance of being successful is not as great as if you created your own opportunity. People create opportunities for themselves out of the love they have for that particular opportunity. And that's what makes it much more easy to go all out for that. Because something that you created off your own. And the love you have for your own. Also, if you have somebody who's down on themselves, who are feeling depressed and down and out, reach out to that person. If you feel down and out, reach out to somebody. Talk to somebody. Let's keep the egos on the low and swallow your pride. Reach out to somebody. We need to stop trashing people, whether behind their back or in their face, and understand where they're coming from. Every single person in this world, no matter how much money you have, how much money you don't have, are all going through a struggle. Everybody going through a struggle. Don't let no rich person tell me that they're not struggling. They might not be struggling financially. It could be struggling mentally. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, I'm going to tell everybody this. Each individual that I meet on my podcast, one thing most importantly, I want to tell you guys. Remember, own and control your time. Don't let no one else tell you that you're going to lose if you don't do what they want you to do. Don't let no one tell you that. You know, we are all winners. You know why we were all winners? Because we got up this morning. We got the gift of waking up again to see another day. How many people in this world were not given that opportunity? I'm not saying they were losers, but how many people were given that opportunity to wake up the next day to see another day? Probably a lot of people didn't get that opportunity. So cherish each day you get up in the morning to say what's up to your family, despite if they're annoying or they just you just don't click with them. Just be grateful for the opportunity. Be grateful when you say good morning. If you don't live with your significant other, just be grateful and then wish them good morning, and tell them thank you for being with you every morning. That's been lost. Fellas, get up and look at your wives, your beautiful wives, every morning and tell them thank you tell your wife, thank you for putting up with me. Thank you for being with me. Say please and thank you. Please and thank you goes a long way. And it's not that hard to say. It's not that hard to provide meaning and impact. Just say thank you, please and thank you. All right. So it's your man Big Dom. I'm going to sign off on this TruPlayaz podcast. Listen, you catch me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, as you saw in the intro. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on my Facebook page. Follow me on all contents. You can also listen to the audio on the podcast. I'm going to upload all the audios I did for the last 3 podcasts today. You can listen to it on Anchor, and we're back on Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeart Radio, TuneIn Radio, and any other radio station we're on. Definitely check us out on Patreon as well. We're going to be uploading videos to there as well. It's your man, Big Dom. I'm going to set up this podcast. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.